wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We got our guest host, Kim Whitley, joining us today.
That's right. Kim said I had to be here for this one.
That's right. She was telling the stories behind the scenes before y'all brothers walked in. We have the Isley brothers here. Welcome.
Yes. Thank you.
How y'all feeling?
Thank you. Yeah, we're good.
Kim was telling us all types of stories before you guys walked in about shows, performances, and all this other stuff.
The years, Ernie and Ron, let me tell you something. This right here, the unique sound, that's the one thing I want everybody to understand. They have had a unique sound for years and the decades, like, you know, from early childhood to now. You think about how long your music, you've gone through generations. I just, you know, I bow down.
7 decades in the business.
Wow. What, 8? Ever since 1959 was the first hit record, Shout.
Wow.
Yeah.
1959.
About 63 or 64 years. And now, number one record for 5 weeks and number one album. No, the album has been there on 38 weeks. Yeah.
How do you keep reinventing yourself? I mean, because it seems like it's new every time. New feelings.
That's from God. You know, it's just we've been blessed.
With so many writers and young writers and new writers and you know and OG writers, and they all love to work with you guys. Why do you think that is?
Because, you know, it's wow. It's hard, it's really hard to explain, but we just enjoy every minute of doing what we do, you know.
And do you ever get surprised, like you're looking at the verses with how many young fans you have and how many new fans that you guys, you know, turned on to you from the verses and things like that?
He was calling you a cat daddy.
Cat daddy.
Just walking through the airport, kids 5, 6 years old, one, hey, that's Mr. Biggs, you know.
Let me tell you, that last picture you had on Instagram, I don't know, you had the black and white on. I'm telling you now, I'm a friend of Candy, but you look, y'all, when I tell you, y'all still have this sex appeal. Do y'all understand that?
All right.
That is just so good. I guess my question is, what is your favorite? I know you have a lot of songs, but what is your favorite song to sing? What is y'all's favorite song?
Well, you know, every night we have to do certain songs, you know. It's just maybe stuff like
That's not hard.
It's Your Thing or Shout. We have to do that every night, you know.
Wow.
And you go through the airport, when we're in any town, we see people at weddings, and they're always doing that song, you know. And it's really a great feeling to watch somebody do your song like that, especially when it's 63 years old, you know.
As I said, nobody plans out a 7-decade career. So when y'all first recorded Shout and, you know, Shout came out, what did y'all think y'all careers were going to look like?
Well,
what was success to y'all back then?
Well, everybody was excited, and when we would go on shows, they would have to stop the show because people would be shouting in the audience and it's making people sit down in your chair and just like. And so, you know, that felt great. I mean, that really felt great, you know. We didn't know it was going to last
this long.
That's right. Because nobody knows that, you know.
But from the beginning, let's start from the beginning for people that don't know you. Yeah. What made you guys want to create this group? And what made you start singing? Was it church? Was it mama was bothering you, said, sing, boy, sing? Or like, what made you say,
yeah,
we're going to start this?
My mother and father, my mother was a teacher. You know, she taught, you know, music. I was singing at 2 years old. I won a war bond at church for, you know, at 2 years old. So we had a group ever since I was 4 or 5.
Was it always the Isley Brothers?
Yes.
That was all. That was the name of the group
That's
from there.
it.
No other name. It's always been.
That's it.
Wow.
And we were like skeptical when we came to New York because we said, hey, they're not going to remember our name, you know, Frankie Lyman and Teenagers and all, you know. And we were wondering, say, well, I hope they remember our name, you know.
When did y'all realize y'all had something here?
When we were in Cincinnati, we won everything that they put us up. You know, every amateur hour, everything, television shows, everything. We won it all. From that time on, all the way up. Yeah.
This was before Shout.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And with your mom being a teacher, did she never not want you to get into this industry called the music industry where you're on the road and all that?
They wanted us to be in the Mill Brothers. My father wanted us to, have a group and last as long as the Mill Brothers. Then my younger brother, Ernie and Marvin, they weren't even, in the music business then, and they came to New York, New Jersey, after we recorded Twist and Shout, and they watched us, and my father always wanted us to be self-contained. And so Ernie started playing drums, and then he went to playing guitar. Then my little brother played bass. Then my brother-in-law was playing keyboards. And we became that self-contained group.
So your father said, let's not pay anybody on the outside anymore. Let's keep everything.
Daddy said, keep all the money. Now, was that Ernie, was that self-taught, those instruments?
Yes.
Wow.
I started with drums first.
Yeah, at the time, Jimi Hendrix was living at the house, and he was playing.
Just gonna throw that name out there. Just gonna throw that name out there.
Yeah, he was there, March of 63 to November of 65.
Why was Jimi Hendrix just living at your house?
Well, he was our guitar player, Okay.
Oh.
And so, we watched him. Ernie watched him, We didn't know Ernie was going to wind up playing guitar, because he was playing drums at the time. And later on, Ernie started playing the guitar. And when I wrote the song "It's Your Thing," Ernie picked up his bass and started playing a bass. I say, we were at the session in New York, and I said, hey, you need to play bass on this song, and he played bass on "It's Your Thing," from that time on.
Now, family could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing, right? Because sometimes too much of your brother is just too much. How much fighting did y'all get into?
That's exactly what I was about to say.
And who won?
We didn't have no fights.
None?
No fights.
Even when you were little?
Oh, they would,
They respected you.
We were close. My father taught us, hey, you better, at the time when I was young, we all had to stay together. When my older brother wanted to go out to a party, they had to take me and my other brother,
Oh, I love it.
He had a girlfriend. We were waiting on the outside of the house. So I want you all to always stay together. Yeah.
How are things now? Because I know one of your brothers was suing you over the Isley Brother trademark.
That's not really a problem. It's hard for me to discuss it now, but that's not a problem whatsoever.
And did you have the problem early on with owning your own masters and stuff like that? Did y'all own that, or if not, did y'all get it back?
Yes, we own some of them.
Nice.
Some of it. We had we started a record company in 1969, Teaneck Records.
That's your thing.
And all the way up into this point now, I have another company, which is RI Top 10, and it owns everything.
How do y'all only own some of it? Don't the masters go back to you after a certain point?
Well, it's all according to what you sign.
Gotcha.
And at some time when we started off, we signed certain things in there, and we had certain clauses in our contract that after 10 years we would
Get it back.
it all would come back.
Shoot, y'all should have been in debt 8 times already, right?
Hell yeah!
That's right.
7 decades in the music business.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
But that's good to have him. I mean, what's going on with Ed Sheeran and this Marvin Gaye situation? Have you all? I don't know if you know what's going on, but Ed Sheeran is being sued by Marvin Gaye's family over sampling. Have you all ever heard something and you were like, wait a minute.
That's us.
Right. That sounds like us. Have y'all ever been like, wait a minute?
Well, the rappers always had respect for our work. And so I love it when you call me Big Pop. That's Between the Sheets.
Between the Sheets, yeah.
Today Was a Good Day. Ice Cube, that was Footsteps in the Dark. There's a very strong association.
We have more samples than anybody in the industry. Over 1,000 samples.
Do you have to clear everything?
Yeah,
Do you listen to it before it
Yes,
goes?
we have to clear.
And
when
it's
you heard-
legal samples out there.
So when you heard Biggie, right? The first time you heard Biggie, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure Puff called y'all, and y'all heard the stuff that Biggie was talking about. What was your first mind frame? Because I'm sure was it Puff that called you?
We flipped out.
Yeah.
We flipped out. So,
The first time I heard it, I knew he had a hit. You know, because it was done in such a signature way for him. You know, I'll see some ladies tonight that you be having my baby. I started laughing when
the whole thing.
But I knew it was a hit.
Whole thing.
I knew it was a hit though.
He didn't reach out though. He didn't reach out beforehand.
oh yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
But you knew
Yes.
it was a hit.
We
when
were
you
at the
heard it.
studio together talking about doing, he wanted to do other records with us,
Oh, you was in the studio with Big.
Yes. And Puffy. Puffy did a couple of records with us, one of them was called Float On, I think.
Float On, yeah.
Number one song here in New York. We had the record In Between the Sheets, Jay-Z, everybody.
Then you became a villain.
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar.
How'd that happen?
He became Mr. Big.
Hold on,
how
real
did
quick.
you become Mr. Big?
When's the last time y'all didn't get a check? When was the last day y'all didn't get a check?
I don't know.
I
can't answer that one.
That song y'all sing, it's even during the pandemic, y'all came out with Friends and Family, and it was everywhere. I said, what in the world? I'm trying to tell everybody I'm your cousin, but
So then you turned to villain, Mr. Biggs.
Yeah.
Now break that down and for a long time that's what everybody looked at you as, Mr. Biggs.
Yeah.
So how was that? Whose
That
idea
was,
was that? Was yours? Or was Kel's? Or
R. Kelly wrote the song "Keep It on the Down Low," and he said, "I wrote this song, and I see you doing it. And my mother wanted you to do it." I met R. Kelly on Sunset. He's driving the car, and he rolled the window down. Hey, stop! I was walking, coming out of the studio. And he said, "Hey man, we gotta talk. I want you on my record. I want you." And so I listened to the record.
did you know who he was at the time?
Huh?
Did you know who he was at the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
He had out a couple of songs. He had out, I think Body Calling Me or something. And so his mother was a big fan of ours. And so she had taught him all our songs. And so we got together to do that down low, and he said, "I see you being Mr. Big, you being Mr. Biggs." He said, and I want you. We're gonna come in. We're gonna do this video. I want to hear your foot when you come in the studio. That's how the video was. R. Kelly is really a genius, man. He. With doing music with his whole mind and thoughts, and we went on. We did other songs, Contagious. I had number one albums with him and sold millions of records. Our first album that we did with Contagious is over 3 million, and which was the first for DreamWorks at the time, and after that he did an album with me that came to the charts number one. I think one of the album that had Contagious in it was number 2, and the other one was number 1, and on and on and on.
Any fear at the time because you were shout and you were between the sheets, and now you were the villain. Man, Mr. Biggs, you know what I mean, with the cane, with the sword on it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you know, my brother gave me the cane. My brother took a picture with the cane. I don't know.
On the 3+3 album, Rudolph.
Yeah, Rudolph.
Had this
And he gave it to me for my birthday, and I started carrying the cane, you know. I didn't know what nothing about the, you know, about the cane would wind up being a video talking about, you gonna hit me with the cane, you know, that type of thing. But hey, man, it's been wonderful. You know, and let me say, we watch you guys. I mean, I know everything that you do. Everything that you do, and we watch you.
Thank you.
And I think what you're doing is so great, man, and never stop doing it.
Thank you.
Yeah, amen.
Thank you.
I feel like you've been the villain before, though. I'm sure you know some man has approached you about being with a woman. Oh, I feel like that's happened.
brothers, though. They
Yeah, a lot of brothers. I don't know about that.
Now, what does tour life look for y'all, you know, after all of these years? It ain't like it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. What does tour life look for y'all now?
You know, we wouldn't know what to do if we wasn't doing the tour, or we wasn't singing, and then seeing the response from the people. You know, just watching the response and getting to see what they like and what song the hell you want me to sing Hello It's Me? You want me to sing Contagious? Do you want me to sing Smooth Sailing? You know, and I do that every night, you know. And I don't know what I would be doing if I didn't do that.
I always wonder how different does the world look, the brothers like y'all, because y'all literally were out before, you know, before the civil rights era. You know, like what was life like back then touring in the 50s and 60s?
We were always just wanting to be the number one thing. And that is no lie. We wanted to be the number one thing. In England, when we went to England and with the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and Elton John and them people like the Beatles were imitating us. And he said, and Paul McCartney would tell you, say, hey, if it don't be for the Isley brothers, we'd still be here in Liverpool, you know.
Did you ever run into, discrimination or anything? I'm just wondering, like, what it was like then, because you all, it's something different. You're together, you're a family, but you're going all over the world. Did you ever experience anything like that?
A couple of times. We went to a club one time, and you know, when we got ready to go in, the guy say, hey, man, hold it. I thought you guys were white.
Really?
You know?
Damn.
He said, and he paid us right then. So, you know, you don't have to go, you know, it's a lot of different type of people here. And we laughed about it because we got paid. We didn't have to go on. Yeah.
So basically, he was telling you, don't go in this club because something might happen.
We don't know what's in there.
Some Ku Klux Klans and all that.
Yeah, Ku Klux
you
Klan,
know,
yeah. Do y'all remember how much the world changed after the Civil Rights Act of 1964?
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, I would have thought it would be way different now. You know, with when Luther King was doing his thing, man. You know, it start changing. You know, and we were hoping for, you know, the change, but you know, hey, it didn't start going back, a little pushing, a little, you know. I think the people are more intelligent now, you know.
Really?
The young people, it's going to take that, you know.
To change.
And the blessing from God, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen. But, hey, I'm going to do all I can.
Did y'all get involved in any way back then?
Oh, yeah. We did everything they asked us to do. And we wanted to do more, you know. But at the time, you had people like Sammy Davis and James Brown, everybody, Aretha Franklin, you know, all those people, you know. And we were in the crowd doing our thing, you know.
Who was your biggest competition back then, if there was any? Black competition.
James Brown.
James Brown.
And Sam Cooke. Jackie Wilson, and we would do, when we were on the show with them, they couldn't go on, man. When we did that song, Shout, we shut it down, so.
When y'all wrote music, was y'all trying to be like, no, we need to make a record that they know that they can't follow? Was that the way your mind frame when y'all were writing and producing?
That's what we were looking for, and we didn't. And we hit that when we hit "It's Your Thing," and from that point on, we went straight to the top.
What inspired that? Because that was kind of like the Bobby Brown, My Prerogative of that era.
Yeah, it was like a dream to me. And that was a dream that I had. I said, when I woke up, I started humming the song. I said, no, it's not going to get away. And I went down to my mother's house, and Ernie was there, and he picked up his bass. I said, I got this song, me and my brother. I said, and I sung it for him. And they said, hey. And we put it on tape. It went in the studio. And I did it one time in the studio, sang it one time while the band was playing it. And then they said, well, it's time to do our part. I say, hey, I already did it.
So it came to you in a dream?
Yeah.
It wasn't like a phrase y'all was saying or nothing like that?
Came to me in a dream. And, at the time, people were saying, it's your thing, do your thing. Or that, that expression was out. But came to me in a dream,
Wow.
Now, what about Between the Sheets? How was that song?
Yes.
Between the Sheets, there's a commercial you used to watch. You can still see it on your computer. Chanel No. 5. Woman was at the far end of the pool, and the guy was at the opposite end, and he dove into the water, and he came up through her leg, and they said shared a fantasy. And I always liked that commercial. And I had my guitar with me with the sound down, and I thought, what would the music be like? And I started playing the chords to Between the Sheets.
Oh, genius. Genius.
And then we got into the studio, Marvin and Chris, and he says, hey, man, okay, you got any lyrics? I got the music. You got any lyrics? I said, yeah. Hey, girl, ain't no mystery, at least as far as I can see. I want to keep you here, laying next to me, sharing our love, and I was stuck. Chris picked up a legal pad and said, sharing our love between the sheets. I said, there you go. And Marvin polished off the rest of the song lyrically.
Wow. What was the young lady that gave you that inspiration besides that? Because did she ever
oh,
That's the story we
no,
wanna
see,
hear.
no, you see,
Oh man, what was her name?
you see, like that's, when I refer to that person as my muse.
Okay.
Right. So that could be anyone.
That's right.
It could be one of my guitars, for example. I think of all my guitars as female. So, that could be anyone. And of course, in that kind of explanation, he's just into the person that he's with. And there's intimacy there because you can't see what's going on. It's between the sheets.
A lot of people think that intimacy is missing from R&B music now. Like that's one of the reasons that people like Puff said R&B is dead.
Oh no.
Ernie started writing songs about 1973. Songs like "Harvest for the World," "At Your Best, Your Love."
Wow.
The song that we did with Beyonce.
Yeah, "Make Me Say It Again."
Make
girl.
Me Say It Again. Fight the Power.
Fight the Power.
Just on and on and on and on, And that was a great thing for us because we could do our thing, release our records so we wanted to release, I could sing anything that I wanted to sing, I decided those songs like "Hello," those songs like "Summer Breeze" from Listening and Adam.
Yeah.
The song "Love the One You With."
Yep.
And those turn out to be big songs for us. But we could do anything that we wanted to do at the time. And my other brother, he was writing songs like
Groove with You.
Groove With You, you know.
Have you ever written a song? Have you ever written a song for someone else and then said, "Dang, I want to get that back. Should have kept that song."
Oh, when I one time, you know, I think we were thinking about the money, and I said, "Hey, Aretha Franklin should do this your thing," and so we were trying to get $15,000 for it at the time, you know. And Aretha Franklin was late at the studio, and she didn't come in.
Damn, so Aretha Franklin was going. She took the record.
Oh no!
Late.
You wanted her to hear it.
Yeah, get it. No, she was one of my girlfriends at the time.
Wait,
You dated Aretha too?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
That's talking about y'all ain't listening. Y'all ain't hear him play it. Say he didn't say that was his girlfriend. He said that was one of his girlfriends at the time.
Well, at the time.
So she was mad at you and she didn't show up.
She was late in getting to the studio, and she didn't do the song.
How do you fix that argument later on? Because, you know.
I know you cursed her out.
Yeah. Or did she curse you out for giving away her record, for taking her record?
She did it later on.
She did record it, your thing, later on.
She did. Okay.
Produced by Luther Vandross.
Yeah.
And what happened? It never came out? Or?
It was on an album.
Well, it came out.
Sounded real good, too.
Clyde Davis wanted us to produce it, and we didn't, you know, we were doing something else, and so she was in the studio with Luther at the time, so Luther did it on. Yeah.
How many girlfriends did you have back then?
I got so many.
I don't know, man.
I just really first
And
of all,
I was so young, man, and you know, hey,
You lived a life.
it wasn't like the girlfriends that you guys have now. You know, it was just like, hey, we were talking about music, talking about doing music, and she
That's the
was.
story. You sticking with it?
Yeah, you know, it wasn't like, you know, I think
Y'all weren't between the sheets, is what you're saying.
you know, I was, I have on my telephone from that time to now, Aretha Franklin, we talk maybe 2 and 3 times a week.
wow. Okay.
Even when she died, you know, she.
Y'all still spoke after
When
she
y'all was
passed?
talking,
We were the best of friends.
Okay. All right.
My wife suggested that she used Jennifer Hudson in her movie, and I said, "Well, I thought you were gonna do Holly Berry." He said, Jennifer would be the person for a movie. Jennifer came to see her that day, and she sang a song to her. So you know what that song is? And Jennifer said, she said that's one of the Isley Brothers songs. It was the last song she sung.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Well, first of all,
That's how tight we were.
to hear these stories, you understand. I'm sitting there, I'm such a fan.
He talking like this regular, but it is for him.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? That's their life.
That's it. Right. It's just so amazing. It's your life, and being a fan, and like we were talking about Gerald Levert. You know, it's just our lives, and you just like, yeah, Aretha, we talk every day. What? I look at this, and I look at the span of how long you've been. What if you could just? Is there a story of the craziest thing someone did on stage to get your attention, or in the audience? Because that'd probably be something I did, chase the tour bus or something like that. But was there ever anything? Did anybody throw anything on stage? Jump on stage? Were there ever?
I'm sure
I was on the stage singing Lucille, and I fell on my knees and had my eyes closed, and a lady threw a dress over me.
What?
And she never want no underwear.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something else.
What it smell like?
Oh, never mind. Don't go there.
No fishy.
All right now.
Now I was gonna ask, with you coming up, you and Michael Jackson or James Brown never got into a competition type of thing?
No,
Because they were both competitors.
That's your young boy, though. It's not James. Boy.
Oh yeah, we were real tight with James Brown. Michael Jackson wanted to do. They wanted us to produce him when he left Motown, but I think he was produced by Gamble and Huff. We wanted to keep our sound, and that's and that's why we discussed certain records that we were doing ourselves. It's kind of hard to come up with those records. We got to do 9 of them in the album. And at the time I didn't want Ernie playing Summer Breeze on Michael Jackson, because he was like big, at the same, like that would take something away from us.
And that was never a problem. The fact that everybody wanted you to produce and play for them, and everybody wanted you to sing on their projects. That never created a riff.
Well, that was a discussion that we would have, and we would say, I don't think we should do that at this time. And I don't know. Ernie might have played a couple of things on different people. I don't know, but
wasn't too much of that.
Well, was there any songs that y'all did that y'all didn't believe in, but it ended up being a hit?
When I came down to the house for them to do the song "Love the One You With," they said, "Hey man," I said, "Hey man, we're gonna do this song, and that's what we're gonna do," and it was a smash for us, Yeah.
Did you ever say "I told you so"?
Why you didn't like it?
No. Well, to be honest, I think at that time I was growing into whatever musician or songwriter I was eventually going to be. It just had not manifested. So "Love the One You With" as a song is a great song. And obviously the way we did it, it's like an Isley Brothers song, So, a lot of times, with whatever you're going to do in the future, you can't see, but you'll have a feeling. So that when we got ready to do 3+3, it was like, oh, we're going to record that in California. And I'm like, California? Yeah. And we're going to do the song "That Lady." I said, "That Lady, that's a cha-cha bossa nova." He said, "No, we're going to change the tempo. We're going to change the lyric. We're going to change the melody. And you are going to play lead guitar on it." And I was like, okay. You don't know until until you do it.
Was it a major effort? Because you listen to all your music, and nothing sounds the same. Was that something that you made sure that you focused on, and make sure that nothing was ever similar? Because "Shout" didn't sound like "Between the Sheets," which didn't sound like it was totally different.
I remember when CBS first heard "That Lady," they said, "Well, it doesn't sound like it's your thing. It doesn't have trumpets or saxophones on it, but we like it." And that you got elements of R&B, dance, funk, but you also got a lead guitar sound on there. That's unusual. How should we promote it? And we were like, just let it go everywhere.
That was the time that we were trying to have mostly like the groups that came out of England, Beatles and everybody. It was self-contained. We wanted that self-contained sound, and that's what "Who's That Lady" was about. That was the time that Clyde Davis signed us, T-Neck Records over there at CBS. He was the one that listened to it, and he had a serious ear. He knew what a hit was, and he did say, "Y'all should sing. It should be another verse." We went back in the studio, and Ernie wrote another verse because it needed 3 verses
at that time,
which was no problem, And then when we came back, Sony fired Clyde Davis for some bar mitzvahs or something he gave, and this and that. We said, well, "Hey, we just signed it. And don't worry about that. Your record will be out so and so and so and so and so. And while we were going through the arguing about Clyde Davis,
Records
record went number one.
What year was this?
73.
73. You know, I always wonder, like, you know, like y'all got on in the 50s, but, you know, that was a time of, you know, racial unrest. How come the labels weren't just racist? I mean, I'm sure they were, but they had no problem signing black acts. Wonder why.
Why? You know, I don't know. I don't know the answer for that. But
They discriminate everywhere else. You know?
yeah, you know, it was always Nat King Cole that built Capitol Records. You know,
Ray Charles.
Ray Charles, Atlantic Records. You know, you know, they know they would sell records. You know, and that was during the Elvis Presley time and during the Fat Domino time and Chuck Berry and, you know, Little Richard, you know. And then came Johnny Mathis, you know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There was a time that you and, of course, the Isley Brothers and Earth, Wind, and Fire, I mean, y'all were at the top of the top. These two groups, did you all become friends? Did you know each other at that time? And I just wanted to hear a little bit about that relationship.
Oh, man, my brother was crazy about them. And, you know, right now, Philly is like my brother-in-law or something.
Right.
What would you say that, baby?
Yeah, Kim.
He was married to
Crystal. Yeah, Crystal.
your older sister, and I, you know, I thought they was like so creative. My brother was friends with
Verdine. Marvin and Verdine.
Yeah,
Being
they just
both bass
talked all
players.
the time. You know, when they had the record, the record.
That's the way the
That's
world.
the way of the world. We would have had our record out at the same time, our biggest album, which was The Heat Is On.
Some would fight the power.
But my brother was arguing with me, the brother Rudolph, because he said, it's another song we should have an album. When we was going back, no, we're going to have 6 songs, there's 3 slow songs in the album on one side and 3 on the fast side, fight the power. So we were arguing back and forth, and that argument went on so long, and we didn't release our records at the same time. But anyway, the record was so successful, and our record was the biggest we ever had.
And with all these records that you've written and produced and sang, and I mean, you keep talking about records, and I'm like, God damn, that's a lot of records and commercials and all that other stuff. Was there ever a time where things got tight at all in the industry? Like where, you know, because you speak to so many artists, and sometimes they'd be like, yeah, it was kind of tight during this time. We didn't have a hit, or we had to sell this or sell that. Was that ever a situation?
No.
Always torn.
Well, when Marvin Gaye came up with Sexual Healing, we came up with In Between the Sheets. When Teddy Pendergrass did Turn Off the Lights, which we took him on tour with us all the time, and Close the Door, we came up with
Don't Say Goodnight.
Don't Say Goodnight. And we would call him on the phone, hey, so we'd laugh and talk about that.
Y'all was making diss records to each other.
This record back then, right? So it was y'all never had no financial situation at all.
No.
Love that.
So it was all friendly competition between all the legends.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Okay, keep going. You're not gonna just throw that out.
There was people that y'all actually had real beef with?
Let me think.
I'm sure the beef is dead now, so.
Right.
No, you know, no entertainer. No entertainer. But the one beef I did wind up having was with Michael Bolton. When he did
Love is a Wonderful Thing.
Did one of our songs, you know, and we went to court for so many years, and we won that case, and it's in the book of Guinness because it's the biggest money case that you know.
That he had to pay.
Yeah.
So he just went out and sung one of your songs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Love is wonderful.
But he did. But he wasn't trying to get
and I
credit.
wanted him to, you know, hey man, let's
give me
settle
credit.
this.
uh-huh.
He went. They didn't want to settle. And, hey, we went to court, and he had 100 lawyers, and we won the case.
Damn colonizer. He's just gonna come in. That's all that's what that is.
Yeah.
Dang.
And, he did, and then he finally said, did he ever come back and be like, look, I apologize, or I should have gave you credit, or?
No,
Damn it. man.
Never apologize for anything.
no. Oh, he sued his lawyers.
Then he sued his
so the
lawyers after for
lawyers
losing.
I think that case was for $8 million. You know.
Jesus.
Did
Did
y'all
he
get
ever
the
pay?
money?
Did he ever pay
yeah.
all the money? You got all your
Yeah.
money?
Yeah, that's why they didn't have any problems.
Yeah, that's what
One
happened.
of the
Right.
reasons. Ernie, do you think R&B is dead? I meant to ask you that earlier.
No.
Okay.
No. Not as long as there's all of that music, you know, waiting to be discovered or rediscovered, you know. And of course, you know, we have a lot of divine grace still being here. And with our track record and the way that we pursue the music ourselves, no, it's anything but dead. It's more alive now than ever. So no.
Now, do people call you, or do you call, like Beyonce, or do people call you, or you call them? Like, how does that magic come together constantly?
Well, I called her. I called her. You know, we were talking about doing the song early in her career, but I called her mother. You know, and when her mother called her, and she said yes. You know. She's a beautiful woman, man.
You say it again.
Beyonce, when it comes to with us, I think she just it came out the same time our album came out, and mostly a person would say, "Wait, y'all got to wait." You know, we wanted to do videos and all that, but we understood that she didn't do a video for her record. You know, she had other plans, but. That's the biggest record for her right now, R&B right now.
Oh yes, it's
It's
great.
still number
Yeah,
one
make
in
me say it again.
California.
Oh,
And
I hear it all the time.
oh, yeah.
I love it.
I wonder what inspires y'all now, because when you speak about how y'all were inspired by Marvin and Teddy Pendergrass, like who do y'all look around to now and get inspired by?
Wow, yeah, I look at well, it's some of the rappers still, you know, that we're doing records with now. The rapper that Takeoff and Quavo did a record with us, and we were talking about, you know, what we was gonna do, and when his death came about, man, it's just, you know.
So y'all did a record with him on his project?
Oh no, it's on ours,
project,
yeah.
On ours.
And we did a record with 2 Chainz. Then we did a record with Rick Ross. Then we did with Snoop Dogg.
Of course.
You know, so we look at that. That's the way the business is sort of going. So we kind of want to keep our, you know, thing going with that too at the same time. You know, I'm going to do something with Elton John, and I'm going to do something with Mariah. And I'm gonna do something with I already Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, yeah. I did a couple of songs with him. And won a Grammy.
Yeah.
You know.
I love myself.
How do y'all have
There's-
I
time?
love myself. I love that record too.
Yeah,
People
like
slept on that record.
like it was like Who's That Lady? You know.
Right. Has anybody told you to go back in the studio and redo the record, like didn't like your vocals or something like that?
Like which?
Like whatever, like they might not like the verse, like
Like
do
a
it again.
producer or somebody.
Or let's say your wife also sings, like, babe, you kind of flat today. Go back in there, do whatever. Has that happened with you at all?
Not really.
Nah.
You wish somebody would. Like I wish somebody would.
No, when you listen to It's Your Thing,
Mhm.
that vocal is the first take.
Mm.
So he did that. He did that live, just one time. You know, so it ain't like go and do it again. You know.
Yeah, most of my songs are one take.
one
And
take.
Even Twist and Shout, even Shout was one take.
Just gonna show off, huh?
Yeah. I didn't even notice that back there then. Like, wow. In between the sheets of one take.
One take.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
But was there punching? Could you punch in back then, or would you have to do the whole thing over?
No,
You
I
could-
just did it one time.
You could, but you just rolling. In the band.
So everybody had to be right. The band had to be right. You had to be right. Nobody
Pretty
can
much.
mess up.
Pretty
the
much.
band they already had recorded.
They laid their track down already.
So now I went out to
there
do
and
the
hit it.
song.
What happened to like the other members of the group? Does it ever sadden y'all that y'all look? It's just y'all two now.
Well, my older brother passed, and my younger brother passed. My brother Rudolph, he decided to go into his ministry. So basically, it's just me and Ernie now. We've been doing this for about how many years?
Quite a few.
Yeah.
Thank you.
More than say 1973 to now, that would be 50.
Wow.
But like if I'm on it, I was a bass player on It's Your Thing when I was 16. So, that would be 68 to now. It's 55 years.
Dang.
16.
Yeah, it's 16.
Wow. My son doing something. This is ridiculous.
Do y'all ever feel peerless because so many of your peers have transitioned?
I think about my brothers, and I think about it's not a day that goes by without me thinking about my older brother, because he was just he's incredible,
Yep.
And I think I think about him being in heaven and watching.
Sending up prayers. Sending down prayers for us.
Yeah.
Watching over your brothers.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah.
Absolutely.
The family bond.
What about artists? Other artists that y'all might have been close with that transition?
Yeah, I think about people like Sam Cooke. Marvin Gaye's a very good friend of ours. Jackie Wilson was very, very close to us. James Brown he's crazy about us. I go back with people like Burt Bacharach. I did an album with him. I think it was one of my best albums. Just singing his songs. He just passed. Michael Jackson, we were crazy about him. And I could go on and on. People like Jimi Hendrix and all. You just.
Oh my God, I gotta get better friends.
Yeah, you
So I can tell my
And
stories.
Aretha Franklin was my best friend.
And Aretha. Is there anyone that you haven't worked with? Like, is there somebody you aspire? Is there anyone else out there that you think about? You've hit everybody from every generation.
I would have liked, did something with Whitney Houston, and I had a chance to do that.
Yeah, we did.
And I did one song for her album, and we'd sang, and she flew us on back from somewhere, from Atlanta, Georgia, or something.
The song she did, One of Those Days,
Yeah.
which was a sample of Between the Sheets.
Yeah.
And Ronald was with her.
I would have liked to seriously did something with her. She's a great singer.
Why didn't that happen?
Just didn't have time. It was people that we talked about doing songs together. We didn't look at it like we looking at it now.
Right.
And you look at it later and say, I should have done.
Man, I love talking to the elders like y'all because it just makes me realize there's so much more life to live.
You're right. You're right.
There's so much.
But I wonder, do you think more now about living, or do you think do you question mortality? Do you think about?
Man, I want to live forever.
I believe it.
Amen.
I believe you will.
Yeah.
I want to live forever.
When you started making all that money, right? Do you remember your first time they put you on a private jet and how it felt, or the first big expensive thing that you bought, and what was it?
Well, I remember our first gig that we made like $500 between the brothers, just the three brothers, and man, I've had that. Yeah, we went to one of those. What kind of store is that when they sell clothes, but somebody else. Thrift shop. Yep. Man, I went in there and bought me. We all bought different suits, and we thought that would
$500.
About $500.
Wow.
That's when suits was $10. $20.
Yeah.
You bought 10 of them.
Yeah.
That is great. That was what you remember. Look at that.
And
That was a great feeling.
I wanted to know, when the Versus thing happened, how did that come about? Who called you and said, this Versus thing is going on, and what made you say, you know what, this is going to be a great idea?
Well, my friend Greg Black, he called me, and Greg Walker. He called me and he talked on the phone for just hours and hours saying, y'all should do this. And he called Switz, and I talked to Switz, and we were talking over and over and over. I don't know if we want to do this, and then we had this record that, Friends and Family.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, well, maybe we should do this,
Mm-hmm.
And we said with Earth, Wind, and Fire, they called them, and they said yes, and we said yes, and then said, well, it's gonna be. And then Steve Harvey called.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be the
host there.
Yeah. Then
Steve loves y'all.
I mean, we're just real good
show.
friends. Yeah.
And it was good because families got to watch it. My young kids, my parents, me.
Yeah.
So it was good.
Now, is it true y'all got your own liquor coming out?
Oh yeah.
I know it's brown.
I know.
Oh yeah. I got. It's gonna be. It's gonna be actually.
Oh, that's right there. There you go, right there.
Yeah, I had it in my purse.
You had it in your purse. That's what you just thought you put it up so fast.
Right. We got Ronald
It's brandy and vodka.
and we got
Brandy. That's brandy.
And Contagious is the name of the brand.
See the brown one.
That's brandy.
The brown one. This vodka right here. Look at that right here. Look at that.
Ronald Isley Liquid Gold Contagious brandy, 40% alcohol, 750 milliliters.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think it's supposed to be 80% alcohol.
80%. It's safe.
Anyway.
Charlamagne can't read. He can't read
No,
too
it
much.
says 40.
No.
It says 40.
80 proof, and then go to.
It's always double.
Oh,
Yeah. It's always.
Yeah.
But the name of it is Contagious. That's the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
On this brandy.
how many babies you can make with this?
I don't know. This liquor is like the record business.
Mm-hmm.
I have a license to sell this all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we got this license here in St. Louis, Missouri. And I think it's about 2 black people that have this, So, man, I'm going to make sure this liquid gold, it should be like Jack Daniels for us over with,
That's right.
Right.
And
can
that's
you get it everywhere? Where can we get the Ronald Isley vodka and brandy? Online.
You can
Right
get it
now?
online.
It's dropping
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah, it says RonaldIsleyLiquidGold.com.
There
Yep,
you go.
RonaldIsleyLiquidGold.com.
Oh, I'm gonna get me a couple bottles.
All right. Well, we appreciate your brothers for joining us.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right, man.
We thank you so much, and thank you all you guys who contributed to this industry and
man.
to this world, man.
Yeah, and I'd like to be in your next music video. Again,
All
I mean,
right.
last one, Friends and Family, I get a close up because I
That's right.
shot it myself. So I appreciate the next song. If I can. This has been I'm sorry for me, guys. You all get to interview all kind of people. I'm not a fan of a lot of people. I'm really not. And I've been sitting here trembling. I am such a fan that.
But you know them.
I know. Yeah, I've been to
His
the
wife came in the
parties.
door. You said, "Why you change your number on us?" You know them.
Okay, I do know them, but let's tell the truth. I see them performing. And when we were even at the party around, so many people that when they're around them, it's hard to sit and have a one-on-one and learn stuff. Now I am coming to the house. You're right. I do know them. But I have never had an experience like this, like you said, to break, I'll say break bread, but break liquor, and really get to, you all are always singing. People don't get to know you. So I thank the Breakfast Club for this.
All right now.
Wow.
Well, thank you, brothers.
Y'all are
Thank you.
icons living,
Absolutely.
man, in a real
Thank
way.
you.
Appreciate y'all so much.
Great, man.
Absolutely.
Well, it's the Isley brothers. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.